Hey y'all, welcome back. Oh, welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective convo. We're gonna talk about two things, and then we're gonna bridge them together. So we're gonna start by talking about living on the outskirts of society. All right. Yeah, living outside of society. And why we're gonna talk about that. So I live on the outskirts of society. You're probably well aware if you're on my channel. I do not exist the way a lot of people do. But I still have to participate for certain things, like groceries. That's pretty much it. Okay. I'm just kidding. I consume things as well, obviously. Look at my house. It's crazy. All right. What I want to talk to you about, though, is that while we are experiencing what we're experiencing, so there's a lot of talk about how these ICE raids are going to put people in concentration camps for slave labor. All right. If and when that happens, that was my main thing ever since day one this shit started was, are these folks getting deported or are they getting locked up? Because to me, it's pretty clear what the plan is, but I don't know if it's clear to others. It has become more of a conversation as the week has continued. So anyway, I have been boycotting shit for a really long time. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but especially if you're poor, you kind of have to participate in but one of the ways in which this society runs, which is why I like to not really participate, is slave labor, prison labor. We've talked about this a little bit in the recent past, but not to this extent. So, when we're thinking about oligarchy, which is a small group of people owning every fucking thing that we have to buy and consume to participate in and to... Oh, fuck, I forgot to delete that all the way. Alright, we don't have as long as I thought. Did I delete it all the way? I don't know. Anyway. So, if you're not aware, BlackRock and Vanguard are pretty much two corporations that own the entire planet. Like, in the essence of goods. Like Nestle, Unilever, are some of the really bad companies. Mars candy bars. There are umbrella companies, but even above the umbrella is like BlackRock and Vanguard. There's this really great guy on TikTok who breaks down everything. He goes to the stores and like takes pictures of the aisles and does research. What is his handle? I'll figure out his handle and put him in the description box below if you'd like to see the evidence about what I'm talking about. So, one of the ways that we can combat this, right, is not supporting the powers that be when they do lock people up. Now, we still have to consume. There are things that we still need to get, especially because of inflation in the way that most of us, I really don't like using that generalization, but it is fair in this case, are paycheck to paycheck. People in this country, specifically in the United States, live outside their means because of credit. I do not have a credit card. That is a flex. But mostly because I'm really bad with money. But honestly, I'm actually really good with money. I'm just poor. And I don't save because I know that money is an energy. But anyway, all that to say, money isn't even real, right? It's made up. So if we're thinking about mass incarceration, for the benefit of the few at the top, in which most of us have to support the goods industry that the mass incarceration folks are producing. You can Google, I have this up on my Google already, I think, because I was going to do this conversation a couple days ago, and I just wasn't ready for it. Victoria's Secret, Whole Foods are two that I remember use prison labor. I know Gucci does because Baby Daddy put Gucci glasses together when he was in prison. All right, hidden prison labor. Okay, Costco. Damn. Target. Oh, everyone's boycotting Target anyway because of their DEI policies right now. You can just Google. Google's free. What companies use prison labor in the U.S.? Companies such as Whole Foods, McDonald's, Target, IBM, Others participated in prison insourcing. So under the 13th Amendment, which we did not explicitly daily decolonize around, we did talk about it when we did the 8th Amendment. If you would like to go to Daily Decolonizing playlist and look at the amendments, we did talk about how the 13th and 8th Amendment were kind of at ends with each other. But the 13th Amendment does allow slavery if convicted of a criminal offense. That's why we see the municipal codes continuing to get passed, new laws, stupid laws, you know, like, for instance, homelessness is illegal now in pretty much all over the country, if not at a federal level. Under this administration, absolutely. So what they've done is all of these companies or big banks have bought out all of the, you know, housing and inflated costs, right? All of us are paying way too much for rent, right? For not, you know, we're not, people are living paycheck to paycheck. And if something happens, like an accident or medical condition or, you know, any other fucking thing, an ICE raid, then they lose their housing and then they become a criminal for being homeless, right? Ridiculous. Anyway, so I want you to understand how the system uses that to their benefit to continue to capitalize. Now, this week when the ICE raid started, people started talking about how the stock market, the U.S. prisons stock markets their stocks went way up. So people started buying into the privatization of prisons. Now, the powers that be, there are private prisons. This is contracted stuff, right? This is where bails come in and bail bonds and all of that as well. People have to take out like title loans or second mortgages to like bail friends or family out when and if convicted or, you know, arrested for something. The system is whack. But anyway, all that to say is that our awareness of this can support pulling away from this system and not giving as much financially, right? Because we don't want, I mean, I know I don't want to support prison labor, right? When I like I said, I've been aware of these things for a very long time, and done my best to stay away from things. I'm still not perfect, but, you know, that's another part of coming into consciousness. When you're aware of something, it makes you feel yucky to participate if you know that humans are not being treated correctly about it, right? Like, all of it, okay? And within capitalism, though, it's very difficult to fully pull away from these systems, right? So I'm not saying this is an individual problem, just like climate change isn't, right? Like, I remember one time I was at UCLA and I was in the bathroom and I was washing my hands and there was this little sticker on the mirror, and it said, like, don't waste water, or like turn the water off when you're not, I don't know, brushing. I don't know. It was some stupid, like, individualized thing. And I went outside and all of the lawns at UCLA are like green as fucking golf course. And I'm like, me washing my hands is not the problem here, bitch. This is a desert. LA is a desert. And you've got green grass, right? So obviously the allocation of water in that case is ridiculous. But that's the same thing. I mean, they've always done that with climate change for, you know, the past 30 years, talking about it. It's your responsibility to do what you can for the environment. Bitch, fuck you. Stop extracting, like fracking and extracting and using slave labor for all of this shit, right? So anyway, prison labor and awareness of production, slavery, the real flex is your heart and soul and the way you care for you and others, is what I wrote down the other day. So when we become aware of these things, when we understand how the system works, the reason that people are even criminalized, the revolving aspect of criminality and capitalism within consumerism. So people who consume are constantly supporting prison labor, right? So I just want to get on here and let you know, maybe we could be a little bit more aware of the companies we support, do a little research. I know, like, Hobby Lobby is like super right wing, like evangelical, like anti-woman shit, and their base is women, right? It's arts and crafts. So, you know, don't support your own oppression the best you can. Costco explicitly prohibits suppliers from being, okay, so Costco is safe. It looks like Victoria's Secret uses prison labor. Adidas And this is just what I'm talking about in this country, but I feel like under this administration, you know, because prison labor is all over the place, right? Like folks in Congo, as we've learned in the past year or two. So the United States is funding the Rwanda militia, and Rwanda militia is going into Congo, their next door countries, and terrorizing and also overseeing the slave labor to mine cobalt, which is needed for our phones, our computers. So with that information, we can do our best to buy, what's the word? Refurbished tech. The flex isn't the money you spend on things. The flex is the way you look out for each other, right? Your heart and soul and the way you care for others is what I wrote down. Okay. I think a big stigma when I was growing up was like buying generic food. No matter what, we are living in a monopoly. So no matter what we buy, we are supporting big corporations and slave labor. But the more aware we are of it, the less we participate, the better we're going to feel about it. The more we talk to our friends and family about it. I know no one wants to hear me talk about this shit. I've been talking about this shit for a really long time. Nobody gave a fuck. I'm really happy that the world is having these conversations now. What companies run prisons? Oh yeah, we started talking about how the stocks in okay, so privatization of prisons has been quite the industry for, I don't know. It wasn't so big when I was little. I want to say at least 25 years. I had an internship with American Friends Service Committee, which does a lot of prison advocacy. Private prison. Oh my. Ugh. Oh my fucking god. Prison privatization is when government contracts with a private company to manage prisons. This can include building, maintenance, food supply, operating prison entirely, the labor as well. Like I said, baby daddy did Gucci. He made Gucci glasses when he was in prison. And it's not my story to tell. Anyway. Private companies provide services to government-owned prisons, such as building, maintenance, food supplies. I already said that. Why'd you put that there again? They may own and operate the prison, and the government pays to house the inmates. What are the issues? Quality of care. The quality of care. Okay, so because it's not a tax run, it's not a public institution, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like we've seen, Hurricane, was it Milton? People were in the Panhandle of Florida incarcerated, and they stayed there. It was a private prison. Also, that just happened in LA like this past week. There were a couple prisons that refused to let people out, and the entire area was engulfed in flames. So I want you to understand, if you've never been inside a locked up facility, I don't know, go on prison TikTok and learn about it, I guess. I was never in prison, but I was in jail and mental institutions. Capital in the carceral state. I've talked about the carceral theory is Foucault's theory. That's the main theory I used in my master's work, talking about how mental health is a means of social control, because they know that like human rights are not being met. So like, of course, people are going to have like breakdowns, and then they're going to get diagnosed, and then they're going to get, again, stuck in this revolving criminalization, dehumanization, right? Addiction always gets thrown in there too, because it's just too much for people to, you know. So anyway, okay, what other, I have American Friends Service Committee pulled up here too. If you'd like to get involved with them, they do great work. At least go check it out. In Florence, Arizona, there are like 13 prisons and ICE detention centers, and they're just out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't even think there's like, we went to Florence in my master's program, but I couldn't go inside because I was previously incarcerated. They wouldn't let me go on a tour inside. I'm not sure why. But that's the rules they have. If you're formerly incarcerated and you're not there being incarcerated again, you're not allowed to go in for like a tour. What companies invest in prisons? GEO Group, Core Civic Group, GEO Acquisition, Paytel. Okay, so we're in the millions. Are prisons traded in the stock market? There are two major publicly traded private prisons, CEO and Core Civic. Okay, let's look up those. Oh, GEO, my bad. Core Civic. I want to... Let's look at Core Civic. Interesting name. Core Civic, better the public good. Sure. Re-entry success. Oh, please. What we do. Core Civic is committed to providing high-quality, compassionate treatment to those in care. What? Let's see. Do you have investors? Oh yeah, let's go there. Anyway, Google's free. You can look this shit up here yourself. Core Civic is diversified government solutions company with the scale of experience needed to solve tough government challenges in cost-effective ways. We provide a broad range of solutions to government partners that serve the public good. All right, these are keywords. Public good. Okay, but the thing is like if criminals are only arrested or criminalized or incarcerated for lack of human need, like within housing or homelessness, that's not a criminal. That's someone who doesn't have money. So, again, thinking about how we live in a capitalist society, so poverty is criminalized and always will be. Always has been, always will be. And that's why they get away with slave labor. That's why they get away with the bail bonds, because being poor is so fucking expensive, and so fucking criminalized. So anyway, with these raids and mass incarcerations, my point here is to do your best to pull away from anything that you become aware of that supports the mass incarceration of another group of people, if you are not included in that group of people. Because you would want someone to do that for you. You would want someone to speak justice to your situation. And, you know, that's how we can make these things obsolete, is by not supporting them, right? That's what we've done with Starbucks and McDonald's and Pizza Hut and other companies for the Palestinian genocide. These companies have lost billions and billions and billions. Baby, get out of the camera, please. Billions of dollars because people have boycotted. So continue to do your due diligence to be a good person, to understand how these are going to impact the current society in which we live, and do your best to, again, live on the outskirts of that. Only participate when necessary. And this goes for anything, you know? Oh, are you okay? It's not a flex to have all the same things. Thrift stores, making your own stuff, right? We have to create new ways if we want new ways to exist. That's on us, because the way it is not going to change as long as these motherfuckers continue making profit, continue creating control, continue in the ways that they always have. Okay? Have a good one.